Cody back again with another vinyl finds video, and I mean, it's pretty crazy how much has changed in the world since the last time I've done a vinyl finds video, which is probably a little over a month ago. I mean, just everything being postponed, canceled, delayed. You know, we can't even go into restaurants to sit down and eat anymore. It's a pretty scary time with this coronavirus. I mean, I definitely can't wait for things to return back to normal, at least somewhat normal. I mean, I was supposed to see Pearl Jam next week in Nashville. I was super amped and super excited to see Pearl Jam, but that's unfortunately been postponed. That got postponed a couple weeks ago. I feel like Pearl Jam was probably one of the first bands to postpone their shows, and then it seems like a couple days after they did it, everything started getting paused and postponed. I mean, the NBA season is suspended right now. I mean, it's just definitely something that I've never experienced in my life in the world right now. It's definitely hard to adapt, but I mean, I definitely hope everything kind of returns back to normal and everyone stays safe. I mean, I'm still working every day. I work in the financial institution, so I mean, I still have to report to work. It just drive up only when you're doing banking transactions, but definitely kind of a somber time. I was also supposed to see Smashing Pumpkins at the end of April. That's also been postponed. I'm hoping that Dave Matthews shows don't get postponed. That's kind of closer to the end of June, so I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that things start to look better. But I mean, it seems like every day so far, I'm in Indiana, and every day it's been getting worse and worse, and the numbers just continue to rise, and you know, everything's pretty much closed. I mean, the Vinyl Rescue Project, they closed for at least 2 weeks, maybe longer, depending on what happens with this. I mean, it's kind of a day-to-day basis, I think, with most people right now. They closed, I think his last day was Tuesday, and there was a stay-at-home order put into effect that started like Wednesday, which I don't think people are really taking it too seriously, unfortunately, but I'm hoping things start to get better. But I do have various albums to show. I'm gonna stop talking about this and try to get into what I have had picked up within the last month or so. Most of this stuff is things I had picked up, prior to, this past week. But one thing that I actually did get today is the newest Pearl Jam album. Definitely my most anticipated album in a long time. Gigaton. I got the vinyl, of course, and I got the bonus 7-inch, and I also picked up the CD as well. It's kind of had to have a little bit of everything, but this is just an amazing album. Just a great album from Pearl Jam. Every single song. I've listened to it twice now, and I feel like every time I listen to it, the more and more I like it. Really like Quick Escape. Quick Escape is probably my favorite song so far, but Buckle Up, very, very good. It's just a very, very great album. Definitely worth the wait, but definitely anticipation. And I'm glad that this came out at this time, to have something to look forward to and spend, to get through these rough times right now. So it's just a great album, front to back. I'm going to say right now, probably my album of the year, and we're only into March right now, so great album from Pearl Jam. I'm super glad I was able to get that. I actually got that from the 10 Club, and the funny thing is, I didn't get a shipping notification until yesterday, like late yesterday, like at 10:30, 11:30 at night, and local record store in Franklin, which they've had their doors closed for the last several weeks, but he's been doing local drop-offs, and if you're in a close radius, and I'm not far from him at all, so I actually ordered the Pearl Jam album from him, and I got that today as well, so I actually gave that one to my dad, but definitely don't mind supporting the local businesses at all. But moving on, I actually picked up this at Half Price Books about 2 weeks ago. They were having a 50% off sale, and I picked up this reissue of Dinosaur Jr. Bug. I mean, it was 50% off. There was nothing really else there that really sparked my eye, but saw this in there, figured I'd get it with 50% off. It didn't end up being very expensive, but moving on, I do have several things from that collection that I've mentioned, you know, in the last probably 6 or 7 videos, or not more. He's still doing the collection. He hasn't done it in the last couple of weeks, obviously, because of this, but I have a good amount of stuff that I've gotten in the last probably few weeks or so in the collection. The first thing I'm going to show is a Iron Maiden picture disc, Be Quick or Be Dead. Pretty cool picture disc there. Then something I've actually saw, and I was definitely happy to find it in there. It's the master recording of Countdown to Extinction, Megadeth. It's kind of ironic because I actually just picked up an original copy of this album probably 2 or 3 months ago. And it was one of those albums I've been searching for a long time, and I got an original copy. And then I came across this one, the Mobile Fidelity master recording of Countdown to Extinction. This sounds phenomenal. It's broken up into 2 LPs, and the original one's just 1 LP. But now I have 2 Countdown to Extinctions. But definitely was pretty happy to find that in there. Then I also got live the Distance to Here. And this is on orange vinyl as well. It's the music on vinyl version. And it's numbered 1,226 out of 2,000. It's a solid album from Live. I actually remember seeing this at, I think, Irvington Vinyl around the time it came out. And I think I had a lot of stuff in my hand and I put it back. So now I actually have the copy of it. And this was actually a Laserdisc. It's a Japanese King Crimson Laserdisc live in Japan. Definitely need to give it a watch, but it's 3 of a perfect pair. I always love finding like Laserdisc concerts. I actually have a good amount of them, so definitely added that one into it. I also picked up a couple of Accept albums. I got Metal Heart. I also picked up Accept Breaker. Then I also picked up an Accept box set. This is a newer Accept. It's Live in Europe, Blind Rage 2015. Great live album. This kind of plays a little bit of everything. Obviously, a lot of it is from the Blind Rage album because it is the Blind Rage tour. But you know, you do get all their hits filtered in there as well. But pretty cool set. It has 4 LPs. They're just on black vinyl. You get poster, 12-inch photo card. But pretty cool. I think this is a German pressing. Then I also picked up another Iron Maiden picture disc. This is Fear of the Dark Live. Only has 3 songs on it. It has Fear of the Dark. Actually, has 2 songs on it. It's got Fear of the Dark Live from Helsinki, Finland, June 5th, 1992, and Hooks in You from Wembley Arena, London, England, December 17th, 1990. But very cool looking picture disc. I mean, obviously, like the sound quality isn't the greatest, but really cool looking picture disc. And I also picked up a Scorpions single, Winds of Change, which I mean everyone knows Winds of Change or Wind of Change from Scorpions. Just a great song. One of those songs I can listen to over and over and over again. It is on white vinyl on that really cool Vertigo label. Always love seeing that spin around on the turntable. But really cool single from Scorpions. But Wind of Change, I've probably listened to this song probably 20 times since I got this. But just a great song. And one of those songs never gets old. And then I also got Ugly Kid Joe, picture disc, Milkman's Son EP. Always on the lookout for Ugly Kid Joe and stuff I don't really come across it often. It's got Milkman's Son, Candle Song, Tomorrow's World, and Sucker Path demo. So a pretty cool picture disc there as well. And the last thing I got from the collection is this Oasis box set, Dig Out Your Soul, from their, I believe this is their last studio album that came out in 2008. And this thing is absolutely massive. I'm not even entirely sure where I'm going to like put this at, because it is huge. It comes in this big box set. It's like 4 LPs. It's got CDs, DVD, a book. But it's a pretty massive set. But I did not have Dig Out Your Soul on vinyl, so I figured I would pick that up out of that collection. But this thing weighs a ton too, but pretty cool album from Oasis. Then I got a few things that I have gotten on Discogs, which, I mean, I got some things still currently coming in from Discogs. Is not able to go to record shops. I have to resort to going online to find things, but get a few things. Fozzy Judas. This is the latest Fozzy album, and I mean, I'm a huge wrestling fan, as if you couldn't tell, but this is, you know, pretty solid album altogether. Honestly, pretty much mainly got this song because I love the song Judas. It's just a really good song. The rest of the album, I mean, I've listened to this album, I think, all the way through once, and some of them kind of didn't really care for a lot of the songs, honestly. But there's some decent songs on there that I did enjoy. Judas is just a really, really good song. And as a big wrestling fan, Chris Jericho, of course, the lead singer of Fozzy. And I mean, I actually have a lot of Fozzy's earlier CDs, like the first 2 or 3. And then I kind of stopped listening to him as much. But finally got this one. It wasn't very expensive. It is also on white vinyl. The funny thing is I ordered this album on Discogs. And it came from Karma Records, which is not very far from me. If I would have paid attention and knew that it was coming from Karma Records, I could have actually just went into the store and got it. But it's kind of ironic that it was like a local store. I didn't even realize it was on white vinyl. But Judas is also the song that Chris Jericho does use for his AEW theme music. It's just a really, really catchy song. Then I also, speaking of wrestling, I also picked up this off Discogs. It is the WWF The Wrestling album. And this, actually, I have an original copy of this. I have the one that came out Record Store Day, like 2015. That's a 2 LP set that has this and the Wrestling Album 2 Pile Driver on it on colored vinyl, which I honestly don't feel like those ones sound the best. The original ones, in my opinion, do sound a lot better. But I actually got this one because it was still sealed. It was it was pretty inexpensive. Still sealed, still has a hype sticker on it. I'm probably not going to open it. One of those things I really didn't need, but wanted, so I got it anyway. But definitely a classic wrestling album. If you're a wrestling fan, definitely worth picking up. But I know nothing too spectacular. And the last thing I actually got is from Discogs, and this is Corrosion of Conformity, Deliverance. I've wanted this album for a while, and the funny thing is this album was in the collection at the Vinyl Rescue Project, and unfortunately someone got it before I could. I mean, sometimes that happens. Sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some, but you know, after I wasn't able to get it, I was more determined than ever to track it down, and I did track it down. I think this guy was from the UK, and I kind of negotiated with him, and I was able to get him down a little bit on the price, and picked it up, and it came relatively quick. And I was actually going to Chicago that day, so I wasn't able to actually go to the Vinyl Rescue Project when they opened. We left like probably an hour or so before they opened. I was going with friends. It wasn't my choice. I would have honestly preferred going to the record store and then going to Chicago, but that was a really fun trip to Chicago. I actually was in Chicago, which is crazy to me that I was just in Chicago like less than a month ago. It was like the end of February, the beginning of March. And I was there for the AEW wrestling Revolution pay-per-view, but wasn't able to get that day. My dad did try to get it, but he had an appointment for a haircut, so he wasn't able to get it. He's probably watching this video and laughing at me, but he wasn't able to get it for me. But I was able to get it in the long run. But I mean, just a really solid album from Corrosion of Conformity. I mean, it's front to back. I mean, Albatross, amazing song. Clean My Wounds. This is several fantastic songs, and the last side is like an etching of just random things. It's probably hard to tell in the camera, but definitely once I wasn't able to get it, I was definitely more determined than ever to track it down and add it to the collection. But happy that I have it now, and everything worked out in the end. But that is all the stuff that I have to show. Definitely looking forward. Hopefully the next time I do a Vinyl Finds video, the world is hopefully returning back to normal. Because honestly, I have no idea when the next Vinyl Finds video I'm going to do. I mean, I do have a few things that I've ordered coming in still. Like the Presidents of the United States did a Kickstarter for their first album. And I did the Kickstarter for that. I'm not really entirely sure when that album's shipping. I don't know if it's going to be delayed. I know Local H has a new album coming out, and they just posted today that due to this coronavirus that they aren't able to get their shipment of the records in time, and it's now delayed like another month or so. So that the vinyl album for the Local H isn't going to come out until like sometime in May, but that is coming out. I know new Mark Lanigan's coming out, I think sometime in May. So hopefully things just start getting back to normal, and hope everyone stays safe. You know, stay inside unless you absolutely have to go out. Definitely a weird time in the world right now, but hope everyone has a great day, and I do thank everyone for watching.